It's feeding time, y'all. Man, my life has changed overnight. She was born on Tuesday, October 13th, 2020, in a crazy year with everything going on, but this is the biggest blessing in this year, and God's plan. But this video isn't going to be anything that has to do with hair, you know. This is just me being transparent with y'all and sharing something with y'all that not a lot of people know. She's making her second cameo on YouTube. For anyone that didn't see the first video, this is my second daughter, ARYA. We had her on Tuesday, like I said. And she's the newest addition to our family, and we are very blessed. Alright, so going off of the title, guys, like, this may be an emotional video for me, for anyone else, anyone that possibly went through the same situation that my wife and you know, myself went through, but mainly her. I was just there beside her and I didn't leave her side, so I witnessed everything, was with her both times through everything. So with my first daughter, she was born December 26, 2014, day after Christmas. She wanted her own day, created her own day, her own birthday, so she gets double gifts. And we don't, you know, we don't cheat her. We give her double gifts. We have Christmas and then we have her birthday. How many moms out there that are, you know, they find out they're pregnant, they automatically go straight to Google and they start Googling good and bad things that can happen during pregnancy and delivery. And that can put a lot of stress. It could put a lot of, you know, bad nerves, bad juju, as you say, bad vibes on yourself, to where I'm a firm believer in if you put it out there, it's gonna happen. And it's not always the case, but I try to be the positive one, because my wife just thinks realistically, and it sucks because it happens. So she was Googling what can go wrong during pregnancy, during, you know, delivery. And during the delivery, you know, it was taking a long time for my daughter to get out. Finally, she was out. This was a natural birth. It was our first time, you know, we're in the hospital. I was recording with a GoPro. I have tons of footage, like, of the birth of my firstborn. And as I saw AALIYAH come out and go to the table, I went over there and loved on her a little bit, but I didn't pick her up. I just saw her real quick, recorded her, and then went back to mommy. Because I overheard the doctor think out loud, and he said, "I can't stop the bleeding." Now, that was like the worst thing that my wife was looking at, was bleeding out. And a lot of women, it's not, I mean, it's common, but it doesn't happen a lot, that women can have a bleeder and they bleed out and they pass away, or the, you know, the baby makes it and the mom passes away. So that was like her worst fear. And with that doctor thinking out loud, obviously worried her, and she heard everything, I heard everything, and I couldn't really enjoy the birth of my firstborn child because I was worried about my wife, and I wanted to be right there next to her side and didn't want to leave her. So it took a while to stitch her up. And finally they got it under control. And everything was good. So as we went to the recovery room, that's when we finally loved on her and embraced the birth of our firstborn child. You got a burp, mommy. And it was a life-changing experience for both of us, but mainly for her, because that was like her worst fear. It was like it happened to her. Baby was healthy, other than her, you know, almost bleeding out. and I saw a lot of blood. It was crazy. Like, not to get all into detail, but like I saw a lot of blood. It was scary. And finally they got her stitched up, and the doctor got her under control. But the doctor thought out loud, and I was kind of upset with her. Oh, that's a Gilbert. I was upset about that, but also like, okay, well, what do we do now? And he's like, well, I'm just gonna try to control this, stitch her up, and she should be okay. And I'm like, all right. So finally they took care of her, and we got her up to the room. We loved on AALIYAH, and so this blessing right here was definitely a surprise baby, but definitely like God's plan. And she was actually a birth control baby. But this baby right here has a crazy story, like a funny story, but also a crazy one, because I don't know if y'all remember, I had a boxing match in January with another barber. And I actually won that fight. If y'all haven't checked out that video, man, y'all gotta check. It has like only like 1,000 views. It's crazy. Like, two barbers fighting. Like, who does that? It was like a scheduled boxing match for charity for a hospital, for St. Jude's Children's Hospital, for the cancer center. We raised like over $3 grand, and we only promoted it for a week. But a lot of clients, local people, from the shop and barbers, like everyone showed love and they showed up. And it was lit. Like, y'all gotta go watch that video, man. It was lit. I ended up winning the fight. And what's funny is my trainers, my brother-in-law and one of my clients, he does MMA. I wanted to get locked in. I had a week to prepare for this fight. I took a fight within a week. Guys, honestly, I'll be 100. Y'all probably not gonna believe me. This is 100% truth. I have never been in a fight. I've never been in a street fight. I've only hit somebody, and that was it. And then someone caught, got their boy or whatever. But I never got hit back. Besides this boxing match, and the barbers hit me up from the other location, was like, "Yo, we need a co-main event before the main event." And I'm like, all right, look, I love to entertain people. I love to be the center of attention. I've always been that as a kid. And so I was like, bro, I have like a week to train. The main event's been training for like 2 months, a month and a half. Like, what? Maybe even longer. So I'm like, all right. I'm about to turn 30. Let's go ahead and knock it off the bucket list. I had put up a little boxing bag in my garage, hung it up, and I got to training within a week, guys. Actually 10 days to be exact. And within those 10 days, my brother-in-law, my trainer, because my brother-in-law fought Golden Gloves, and my trainer, obviously, he's an MMA fighter. Oh, you're okay. You're okay. They told me, don't do nothing with my wife for these 10 days. Like, you need all your stamina, you need your legs. Like, a lot of fighters, a lot of boxers, if y'all know MMA fighters, boxers, they don't be intimate with their spouse because they need all the stamina, and they need their legs for the fight. And so I was really training like that. And after winning the fight, TMI, we celebrated. And come to find out, whenever we found out we were pregnant, the doctor, without me even stating this, without the doctor even knowing, she was like, the baby was conceived on January 18th, if I'm looking at the numbers correctly and going off of my wife's last menstrual cycle. And I said, excuse me? She was like, yeah, January 18th. The testosterone and all that is real, guys, through birth control. So I feel like she's gonna be a fighter. I thought for sure she was gonna be a boy, because obviously finding that out, I was like, oh man, like, it's gonna be a boy. But I'm blessed that it's this beautiful bundle of joy right here. So before finding out that we were pregnant, we were at Busch Gardens with my in-laws enjoying a weekend out before all this coronavirus stuff. So we were, riding roller coasters, having drinks at the park, having a good old time. And let's see if she takes this. This is like life right here, guys. Like, there's some parents that are against it, but I'm for it. If it can soothe the baby, keep them sleeping very well, especially through the night. She'll spit it out through the night and sleep fine without it, but this helps. It helps. Whenever I see kids with like cell phones or tablets, and people complain about them being on, games and stuff, but it's like an electronic pacifier. the phones and tablets. You want them to be quiet, or you want them to be running around going crazy. So getting off subject, but you know, we're at Busch Gardens having a good old time and riding roller coasters. My wife's having drinks, I'm having drinks. We were on a brand new ride called Tigers, and I'm locked in this chair. I'm next to my father-in-law. My mother-in-law's sitting in front of me. My wife's sitting in front of me. My mother-in-law's sitting in front of my father-in-law, and they give us a green light, give the thumbs up, and say, "All right, everyone, get ready to go." Well, I see this red light bling on, and I'm like, "Okay, what's going on?" And then I feel the things come up. And I'm like, all right, so everyone's getting off. You know, they said, everyone get off. We're, experiencing technical difficulties. I'm like, all right, cool. Get back in line. Get back in line. I see a maintenance man show up 10 minutes later. And he asked the guy that, that works there, what's going on with the ride. And the guy walks over to my chair and like taps it and walks away, because I'm guessing he didn't want to cause a scene. Well, that maintenance man walks over to my chair that I'm already locked in. I was ready to go, guys. They gave me the thumbs up. We were ready to take off. This is how crazy God works. He goes over to that roller coaster, to my chair that I'm sitting in, or was sitting in, and he just pops off the strap that comes over my shoulder to connect to the bottom seat. And he pops it off and throws it on the floor. And you hear, it's quiet because everyone's like, yo, what's going on? As soon as he does that, everyone's like, like if you can hear everyone at one time go, it was like, what the heck? He literally popped that thing off, dropped it on the floor, grabbed another strap with a wrench and started putting it back on. And I'm recording. I'm gonna drop a picture of the video right now. So I was about to get on this ride right here, this seat, and they're replacing the strap that goes around your backside, your body, that keeps you in there. Is this a sign from God to not ride this ride, or what? Look at the strap on the floor. It's that thing right there. So y'all saw that strap on the floor, right? You saw it next to the roller coaster, the seat that I was in. As I'm telling everyone this story, their first question is, did you get back on the ride? My father-in-law's been through so much that he was just like, I'm getting back on. Like, they fixed the seat for you. You saw it. He's just thinking like, all right, they fixed it. You probably got the best seat in the house. My mother-in-law and my wife, on the other hand, were like, nope. They walk right across that seat and go right back down to wait for us. And me and my father-in-law get on. And I get in the same chair that I was in, and we get on the ride. We have a good time. Everything is good. We're safe. We're alive. We go back down. We're just like, yo, I need another drink. So that was that weekend, right? Come Monday morning, my wife wakes up and she just like nauseated. She feels sick, and she's like, how can I feel sick from a roller coaster, from 2 days ago? And I'm like, I don't think that's a thing. Okay, when was your last menstrual cycle? And women, if you're on birth control, any type of birth control, it can mess up your menstrual cycle, whether it's stress or it may skip a cycle or whatever. So I'm like, when's the last time you had your menstrual cycle? And she was like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, well, you gotta take a test. And she took a test, and we found out we were pregnant. Immediately, all the bad stuff just started coming to her head again, replaying back over and over from my first daughter, AALIYAH. And she was just emotional about it. She showed me the test, and she was breaking down, and I joke about it now, but she was like, this would never happen if you would have got fixed. Like, because she's just thinking about the bad things. Like, it's so wrong. So it sucks that you don't have a happy thought about your firstborn child because she had a bad experience. And it doesn't happen to everybody. I hear it all the time, like every pregnancy is different. And so that started replaying in her head, and obviously again I had to be the one to be positive, and I just held her so tight and just let her know that everything was going to be okay. and it was just like, I was just like, wow, we're pregnant again. And just thinking back of what that happened that past weekend about me being on that roller coaster, guys. She was pregnant. She was pregnant that day and we didn't even know. The next morning, we get up and I try to make light of the situation and just rub her tummy and kiss all over it. And so I'm like, look, we're gonna have to tell my mom, we're gonna have to tell your mom. I'm excited inside because I've always wanted a boy, but it's not guaranteed. My wife is an identical twin, and so that's another thing. Like, we're like, dang, hopefully we don't go from 1 to 3. 1 to 2 might be good, but 1 to 3, woo! So we decided to tell my mom. My mom's excited, and she's like, oh my gosh, are you serious? And I'm like, we took like 4 tests. All of them were positive. And I'm like, but just let us go to the hospital first and do that test. That way we can confirm and tell everyone else. And she's like, okay. So she was excited for us. And we go to my in-laws that night for dinner. And we're sitting down having a good time. And I look over at my wife and I give her that look like it's time. It's time to let them know that we're pregnant. And so I go back to this past week and relive that moment because it was her company party, and she had went to work that following Monday and started telling all her co-workers what happened, and everyone was like, yeah, we saw that ride was closed. I tried riding on it and they wouldn't let us up. And she's like, yeah, my son-in-law was in a chair where they had to, the strap came off and they had to come repair it, and everyone was like freaking out. So I'm like, everything happens for a reason, and I'm a firm believer in everything happening for a reason. I told her I'm a firm believer in everything happening for a reason. She's like, yeah, no kidding. And I'm like, yeah, because I would have left your daughter with 2 kids. And at first it didn't register to her. My father-in-law looked at me like, what? And my mother-in-law was like, she went to go bite some more food, and she's like stopped herself. She's like, wait, what? And I'm like, and it just became an emotional time for me and my wife. And we're just like, yo, we're having another kid. And, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law started loving all over their daughter. And we were just an emotional wreck because, again, my wife's thinking about was, what happened in the past. And it just became an emotional time for us, when we told them. And I was like, dude, like, this is all right around the same time as Kobe Bryant passing away on a helicopter. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant, man. He lived. Like, I was just thinking about all that. I was like, dude, I almost lost my life without even knowing that my wife was pregnant, and I would have left her with 2 kids. Crazy. But wait, there's more. So, the main reason for this title, the scariest moment of my life. Once again, mid-pregnancy, we find out, that my wife suffered a pubic bone separation from my firstborn, and we didn't know. She she bounced back so fast. I'll drop some pictures of us getting back in shape. Like, right after my first daughter, we started getting back in shape. We ran a savage race. We were healthy. We were looking fit. We were looking fine. And we were good. Nothing wrong with her pubic bone. And, we went to a physical therapist because she started having pain mid-pregnancy. And they let us know that she has a pubic bone separation issue. And she can possibly break her pelvic bone area with pushing naturally with her knees to her chest, natural birth. She might be pooping, guys. She grunts whenever she's ready to poop. That she could separate that pelvic bone area by pushing. So obviously we didn't want to do that, so we did back to C-section, which we'd never done before. And again, my wife goes to Google. And I can't stop her because some things she looks on Google is real. Some things it's like just scares her, and then I'm just like, yo, don't believe that. Let's go to the doctor first. Well, due to getting an epidural and doing it naturally, you can not feel the pain, and she could break her pelvic bone while pushing. But you're truly your father's child. So we start looking up C-section stuff, right? And I'm for it because she don't have to push, she don't have to risk the chance of her breaking her pelvic bone. And so we do the C-section. During for the C-section, instead of an epidural, there's a thing called a spinal tap, and that spinal tap is to numb everything from the chest down. Epidural numbs from the waist down. You got to be chest down numb because there's a lot of pressure. That cut is so low, it's so weird, but they're like literally up in her chest pushing that baby out. And so they gave her a spinal tap, and they gave it to her twice actually because it failed. It failed mid-procedure, and she felt everything. She felt all the pain, the pressure. So they gave her more medicine, and it started making her super drowsy and slurring words. And I was just gripping her hand tight, told her to, I was like trying to keep her awake, and she was like going in and out. And I was looking at the doctors talk with their eyes, so they're like looking at each other like as if something was going wrong, but they didn't want to say it out loud and stress out mommy and daddy. And the spinal tap failed. Like, she felt all the pressure, she felt all the pain, she was going in and out. I didn't know if it was the medicine that was making her like that, or as if she was dying on me. Like, I thought I was losing the love of my life again for the second time, and I'm like, damn. We just don't have good luck with pregnancies. And I'm holding her hand tight, and she like, let's go for a moment. And I'm like, babe, wake up. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I feel drowsy, I feel drugged or whatever. And I'm like, yes, the medicine is supposed to help you. And so she starts feeling less pressure, but again, she's like going in and out. And again, I see my baby being born. And the doctors are like, Daddy, you want to come over here and take pictures and love on her? And that's it. Honestly, is she getting taken care of? And she's like, yes, of course. And I'm like, all right, I'm not leaving my wife's side. And she's like, that's totally fine. So again, we couldn't have the joy. Oh, there she goes. I told you, I know my baby. You're a great pooper like your daddy. Again, I see my baby being born, and I'm like, I can't enjoy that moment because I'm worried about my wife. My wife, is she okay? And the doctor's like, they're fine, she's fine. A C-section normally is supposed to take 45 minutes. It took us almost 2 hours to get out of that procedure room. The spinal tap failed. She felt everything. She was going in and out. When we get back up to the recovery room, that's when we start loving all over our ARYA, and my wife isn't feeling so good. She's in pain, but she's back, like she's able to talk now and stuff like that. But it just sucked. It sucked because I thought I was losing her. The medicine was working so good that it was just making her real drowsy and delirious. But the doctor just kept telling me like, yo, she's fine. But it's crazy because like if you had a C-section before with your wife, you can look over the drape and see the process, right? And so I stood up and I tried looking at one point, and the doctor, anesthesiologist, just pushed me back down in the chair, and he's like, dude, don't get up too quick. I'm like, dude, I'm fine. And he's like, bro, there's a husband in here that stood up, looked over that curtain, fainted, fell down, broke his jaw. I was like, oh hell no. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna sit down. I saw the first birth of my child, so I wasn't like, I'm not grossed out with stuff like that. It's actually pretty amazing to me. But after hearing that they're gonna cut through 7 layers of skin for a C-section, like I wanted to see what that looked like. It may sound crazy, but I was just curious. Some men are like, nope, I'm gonna throw up, or like him, he fell down, busted his jaw. He got admitted to the hospital, wasn't able to be there for the birth of his child. And I was like, all right, bro, I'll sit down. So after that, I didn't see anything else. Still pooping. But we go back upstairs, we love on ARYA, and we just look at each other like, we made it. We're here, you're healthy, regardless of what happened in that procedure room. God's angels were all over us, and he was with you mainly because baby was fine. It's just mommy wasn't doing so good. So the next couple of days we're in the hospital. The nurse comes back up that did the surgery for her and was like, mommy, how are you feeling, and how's baby? And we're like, we're good. And so this is when the question starts happening, and I'm just like, can you be honest with us now? Like, what happened? Because it was supposed to be a 45-minute procedure. She felt everything. And this is where the whole truth comes out. She states that, I don't know if it's her making light of the situation or my wife just got some really great abs. Because like I said, we worked out, we were fit. After her first pregnancy, she was like, after we cut you open, we're trying to get the baby out. Not only is the baby big, she was 7 pounds 14 ounces. My firstborn was 8 pounds 11 ounces, 21 inches. She was 7'14", 19 and a half. Big babies, healthy babies. And they're like, we couldn't get her head out. That's the only thing they said, is they couldn't get her head out. Her head is so big, baby's head. And then she did state that, mommy, your muscles are so tight. And I don't know if that was from her like just gripping the table from the pain or tense, because she was like shaking like this, guys. She was shaking so much because she was gripping that table. I don't know if you know, but C-section, you have to be like almost like you're laying on a cross, and then there's like a drape, so you don't see anything from the chest down. And you have like this little table you can hold on to, and so that table is like shaking all the way to where she's bending it. This is, I told you. So the doctor stated to us that, mommy, your muscles were so tight and so toned that there was no give for us to bring the baby out. So we had to cut your muscle open. And it actually had an oozer. It had a bleeder. She said the blood was oozing. So that's when I saw that moment. It was like I just felt something was wrong, because I saw them talking with their eyes. Yes, girl, get it out. That might come out the diaper. Girl, your butt's all hot. All right, let me finish the story else I can go change this baby. So they had to cut her muscle open. She had a bleeder, guys. Like, that's what was going on. I knew something was wrong. But they also wanted to get things under control. They were working, they were in their zone, so I'm thankful for that. But it was just a lot of silence that I didn't like. And it was taking so long to stitch her back up. So that's where all the worriness came from me. But she was like, but nonetheless, we stitched you up, we got it under control, because had we not, you would have ended up in the recovery room and then had to go back to the OR, back to surgery, cut back open. Also, they said after they cut the muscle to get baby out, they tried sewing it up, but then it was bleeding, so they had to recut her again. So there was a lot going on, guys, and I'm sorry, for being this transparent. Like, if this is not something that you're not really into, this is something I wanted to share with my family, my YouTube family, because y'all have been a freaking blessing to my whole family. Everyone knows that, the bonus of YouTube is income. And y'all have been such a the support that I get from this channel has been such a blessing. So that's why I wanted to share those moments with you. Be transparent. And for someone that went through the same thing, we feel you. So let's just go ahead and finish this video with, we're blessed. We're very thankful that we have 2 beautiful children. Me and my wife are here on this earth, watching them grow together. My first daughter is such an amazing big sister. She helps out so much. She loves her little sister, and we're just thankful that we have everyone in our circle, our family, our support system, and we're just so thankful for everything and thankful for y'all guys. That's why I wanted to share this story with y'all. But let me go change this baby. But I'm gonna end this video with all that being said. Your boy has an appointment in November for a vasectomy, so I don't want to put my wife through this, ever again. Do I want a boy? Of course, it's not guaranteed. We didn't have the best pregnancies and deliveries, so we're not gonna try again. We're blessed that we have these two beautiful daughters of ours, and I love my beautiful daughters. No boys allowed. Y'all want to try me? Try me. I'm gonna be worse than bad boys too. Y'all don't want the smoke. But alright guys, I love y'all. Again, thank you for all the support. Thank you if you tune in through this whole video. I love y'all. Thank you for hearing me out. Say bye. Big sisters at school. Say bye. I'm gonna look back at this video, guys, and it's just gonna bring back so many memories and blessings. Bad memories, but also blessings. 2020 has been crazy, but it's also been full of blessings, and I'm thankful. But alright, can you say Team Gifted? Stay gifted.